Today, we delve into the incredible journey of Sir David Attenborough. His passion for the natural world has shaped our understanding of the environment and our responsibility to protect it. Through his groundbreaking documentaries, insightful books, and inspiring speeches, he has left an indelible mark on the world. David Attenborough was born on May 8, 1926, in London. Yes, you heard it right, same year as Queen Elizabeth II. Even as a young boy, he was captivated by the beauty and wonder of the natural world. His early fascination with fossils and wildlife set the stage for a remarkable career. His love for nature led him to study natural sciences at the University of Cambridge. In the 1950s, he began working for the BBC, where he started his documentary career, producing and narrating various nature programs. But you know what? Here's a fact you wouldn't believe. Sir David was rejected from the first job he ever applied for at the BBC, and when he got his first job in television, he didn't even own a TV. In 1954, at the age of 28, he convinced his BBC bosses to let him explore the world. He then traveled all over the globe, bringing the wonders of nature to people through their TV screens. He's thought to be one of the most well-traveled people on the planet. For the Life of Birds documentary, he traveled a whopping 256,000 miles. Wow! Wait. That's the same as traveling around the world 10 times.
Wherever I went, there was wilderness. Sparkling coastal seas, vast forests, immense grasslands. You could fly for hours over the untouched wilderness. It was the best time of my life.
It was in the world of documentary filmmaking that David Attenborough found his true calling. His pioneering documentaries, like The Blue Planet and Planet Earth, have transported audiences to the most remote and breathtaking corners of the Earth. Places and living creatures that seemed to come out of a different world were now visible and reachable for everyone. And that was a turning point for humanity, as it kindled a profound desire in many people to protect this wondrous planet.
We humans will go to extraordinary lengths to save a single whale. Think of all the times we've come to the rescue when they're in trouble on our beaches. Look at the crowds of whale watchers who pay good money for just a glimpse. But how many of us would be willing to put our lives on the line, to die for a whale? Well, I've just met some very radical conservationists who say they're prepared to do just that. Their mission is to destroy the Japanese whaling industry. And if humans have to be sacrificed, so be it. No wonder they're calling this crusade Whale Wars. Hundreds of kilometres south of Australia, in the freezing waters of the Southern Ocean, there's a war going on. It's a life and death battle to save our whales.
These are wars to save our planet.
Ships rammed, people tossed overboard, and explosive harpoons fired over heads. Dangerous scenes being played out in a dramatic escalation of aggression on the high seas this year. But even if there's no market at home, the war on the water goes on. The Japanese are more determined than ever to keep whaling and dismiss claims that whales suffer slow deaths.
The longest we saw took more than 35 minutes, but we repeatedly saw examples where the whales, after they were struck by the harpoon, would fight on for several minutes, up to 10, 12 minutes at a time.
This whale had to be shot 3 times before it died, and it took 20 minutes to die.
It should have been much shorter.
The Japanese government believes this is more a publicity war than anything. A war Greenpeace encourages simply to raise more funds.
Once you establish good, big organization, and now your purpose is changing from the actual environmental movement to the maintenance of that big organization.
Certainly Greenpeace knows a photo opportunity. No greater example of that was when one of its volunteers, Mikey Rosato, scrambled onto the carcass of a whale to unfurl a protest banner. What possessed you to jump onto that whale?
It was a moment of intimacy with the whales. I know that's hard to explain, but when you're in an inflatable boat for 4 hours in front of a harpoon protecting this whale and then it's suddenly killed in front of you, and it's not defiance at all, it's a symbolic protest.
What can I do? What can I as an individual do, particularly when I see a threat coming over on the horizon that's going to really threaten the world I love and the world of which I'm a part, and eventually will threaten me? What can I do? It's very important that there should be some things that you can do in the same way as you can vote for a government. Yes, I have a vote. Yes, I can stop using plastic. You can do these things. But in the end, what we're dealing with is a global issue. And so you have to look at where the levers are, the global levers are that will have global effects. And of course, those are political and international. And so we have to work through those. Now, I am under no illusion about how difficult this is. I mean, if you look back at human history is about argument. Human history is about disagreement. Human history is about war. Human history is not overwhelmingly about, all right, let's all be bands of brothers. It is not. And so human beings have got to learn a new way in which they can live together and stop arguing. And that's it. Unless we do that, we're sunk. Seeing a sense is one thing, doing something about it is another. And that's even more difficult, I think. But the sheer democratic force of young people around the world at the moment is forcing middle-aged and aged politicians to take action. And in democratic countries, there is an overwhelming demand by particularly younger people that something must be done. The problem is a moral one. What right do you have to destroy the world and all the creatures that live it, and also the well-being of your fellow neighbours? If you care about the future of the natural world, you have to care about the preservation and conservation and protection of the communities, biological communities of animals and plants. And it depends fundamentally on whole communities of living organisms, from microorganisms all the way through plants and all the way through animals. And that if you damage one part of it, you can never tell where the consequences are going to end. And that therefore the sensible attitude to conservation is to conserve animal and plant communities. And that means land.
Over the years, Sir David's exceptional work earned him numerous awards and recognition, solidifying his status as a global icon in the realm of conservation and nature documentaries.
David Attenborough.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Sir David Attenborough, for services to television broadcasting and to conservation.
To empathise and even connect with the animal kingdom has set his career apart. That talent was recognised by the Queen with a knighthood in 1985. Now both aged 96, Her Majesty awarded him a prestigious upgrade on his original honour. During Saturday's Jubilee party, Sir David's rallying cry for action on climate change was projected onto the minds of millions.
Our planet seemed to be almost infinitely large, and the activities of human beings almost irrelevant to its future. How wrong I was.
Sir David's life's work has displayed the beauty as well as the fragility of life on Earth, winning him fans across the world in homes and palaces too.
One of David Attenborough's most influential contributions to the conservation movement was his groundbreaking book, Life on Earth. This work explored the history of life on our planet and became a cornerstone of modern environmental literature. Through vivid descriptions and stunning imagery, Attenborough's book has educated and inspired readers for generations, highlighting the interconnectedness of all life on Earth. Beyond his documentaries and books, David Attenborough has been a powerful advocate for the environment. He has delivered impassioned speeches to international audiences, urging global leaders to take action against climate change and the loss of biodiversity.
Compromising, as you surely must, it's easy to forget that ultimately the emergency climate comes down to a single number: the concentration of carbon in our atmosphere. The measure that greatly determines global temperature. And the changes in that one number is the clearest way to chart our own story, for it defines our relationship with our world. For much of humanity's ancient history, that number bounced wildly between 180 and 300. And so too did global temperatures. It was a brutal and unpredictable world. At times, our ancestors existed only in tiny numbers. But just over 10,000 years ago, that number suddenly stabilized, and with it, Earth's climate. We found ourselves in an unusually benign period, with predictable seasons and reliable weather. For the first time, civilization was possible, and we wasted no time in taking advantage of that. Everything we've achieved in the last 10,000 years was enabled by the stability during this time. The global temperature has not wavered over this period by more than plus or minus 1 degree Celsius. Until now. Our burning of fossil fuels, our destruction of nature, our approach to industry, construction and learning are releasing carbon into the atmosphere at an unprecedented pace and scale. We are already in trouble. The stability we all depend on is breaking. This story is one of inequality as well as instability. Today, those who've done the least to cause this problem are being the hardest hit. Ultimately, all of us will feel the impact, some of which are now unavoidable.
My world is melting.
You think you have control, we actually have no control.
I'm absolutely terrified to bring a child to this world.
Is this how our story is due to end? A tale of the smartest species doomed by that all-too-human characteristic of failing to see the bigger picture in pursuit of short-term goals. Perhaps the fact that the people most affected by climate change are no longer some imagined future generation, but young people alive today. Perhaps that will give us the impetus we need to rewrite our story, to turn this tragedy into a triumph. We are, after all, the greatest problem solvers to have ever existed on Earth. We now understand this problem. We know how to stop the number rising and put it in reverse. We must recapture billions of tons of carbon from the air. We must fix our sights on keeping 1.5 degrees within reach. A new industrial revolution, powered by millions of sustainable innovations, is essential and is indeed already beginning. We will all share in the benefits. Affordable clean energy, healthy air, and enough food to sustain us all. Nature is a key ally. Wherever we restore the wild, it will recapture carbon and help us bring back balance to our planet. And as we work to build a better world, we must acknowledge no nation has completed its development because no advanced nation is yet sustainable. All have a journey still to complete, so that all nations have a good standard of living and a modest footprint. We're going to have to learn together how to achieve this, ensuring none are left behind. We must use this opportunity to create a more equal world, and our motivation should not be fear, but hope.
Can we fix climate problem in one generation? My answer would be yes, we have to.
We need to not just to talk about what we can do, but to do what we can.
This is a challenge that we should try to solve in a quick way with a long-term vision.
It comes down to this: the people alive now, the generation to come, will look at this conference and consider one thing. Did that number stop rising and start to drop as a result of commitments made here? There's every reason to believe that the answer can be yes. If working apart, we are force powerful enough to destabilize our planet, surely working together, we are powerful enough to save it. We can do it. It's within our power to do it. We can do it. We must do it.